Most of the groups that come to Benmore get here by coming by coach. If they're coming from Edinburgh and Glasgow, they normally set off and come down to either the ferry at Gourock and come across to Dunoon and then up to the centre, which is 7 miles away, or they go via Loch Lomond and the Arrochar Alps, over the Restonby Thankful Pass and down to Benmore that way. Both routes take about the same amount of time. When people arrive at Benmore, the first thing that they do is they get off the coach, get all their baggage off, and I know that they're always excited. So we try to get them busy as quickly as possible. When you come to Benmore, I know that most of the activities are somewhere near water, and people like to get into water.
So I suggest that you bring plenty of clothes, so that while some are drying in the drying room, you have others to wear out on activities. Remember to have your name or initials clearly marked on all of your clothes, so they don't get mixed up with everyone else's. At colder times of year, you'll need to bring lots of warm clothes and have several complete changes. But remember that you'll need to be able to carry your own suitcase or bag and to get it upstairs.
Tops, really, jumpers. Not an awful lot of cotton t-shirts really, because they tend to hold the water that's a bit shivery for them.
And lots of socks. They always need lots of socks. And a pair of indoor shoes they can wear indoors, slippers, or a pair of indoor trainers they can have as well.
We supply waterproofs, which will help to keep you dry, but you need to wear plenty of warm clothes underneath them. As well as asking you to bring a pair of indoor shoes or slippers, we ask you to bring a pair of outdoor trainers which you don't mind getting wet. These can be used for activities like canoeing and biking when you're very likely to get wet feet. When you're doing activities like climbing and gorge walking, we'll usually give out boots for you to wear. If you have your own, you can bring them too, but being able to tie shoelaces is a useful skill for everyone to practice before they come to Benmore. Wellies are also useful for some activities, so if you have a pair, then it's a good idea to bring them. All specialist equipment is provided by the centre. That includes harnesses, helmets, buoyancy aids and ropes. These are all looked after and checked each time so that they are in good condition. We also supply bedding when you come to Benmore, and one of your first challenges will be to make your bed. We provide sheets, downies and downy covers, pillows and pillowcases. A bit of practice, especially without a fitted sheet, before you come to Benmore will make this lots easier. You will, though, need to bring a towel and your wash kit with you. We know it's important that people eat well while they're active and learning in the outdoors all day, so we make sure that there's plenty of good food for everyone. We provide good healthy food that children can enjoy and which gives everyone plenty of energy while out on activities. There's always plenty of food available, and as long as we know in advance, we can cater for any particular diets, such as vegetarian or those with allergies to certain foods.
You don't get a lot of free time when you're at Benmore because there's so many activities to fill in the day and the evening. But there will be a bit of free time, and perhaps 2 or 3 times a day. Many of the activities at Benmore require specialist safety equipment. We make sure that it's maintained to the highest standards and that it's regularly replaced. So if you're doing climbing or caving, the harnesses and the ropes that are used, checked every time before they go out. For all of the water activities, we have buoyancy aids, flotation devices to keep you afloat should you happen to fall in the water. And for some activities like sailing, we have special safety boats which are designed to be on the water and there should you need them. Although people arrive in a coach at the beginning of the week, because all of our activities take place in small groups, we have our own minibuses to get you out to the activities. We are very lucky because we have most of the places that we go and do the activities are close to the centre. If you get your clothes wet when you're staying here, we have some drying rooms downstairs in the centre where you can put your clothes to dry.
Schools welcome the opportunity to include time for reflection in the evening. So after the evening meal, most schools will sit down together for a while to review their experiences. Writing a diary encourages pupils to reflect on the activities of the day, to record their achievements and their feelings, and to give them a permanent record of an eventful time. These diaries can also serve as a means of sharing the experience with friends and family long after the residential course is over.
Oh, Benmore is gonna be so much fun. I'm gonna love it. Oh, but there's even some activities. Gorge walking.
Gorge walking. What can I say? People ask me when you get in the gorge. People ask me, how many times have you been here? And for most of the instructors, you do literally count it in the hundreds. The reason that we still come out at the end of the day with a grin on our face is simply because it's an incredible place. It's one of the most beautiful places in the local area, and to be honest, although that's not the reason the vast majority of people go up there, it is one very good reason to go in there. Standing in the gorge with a good water level is an astonishing place in the local area. It's a very fine, deep V-cut gorge. You feel very committed. You feel like you're in the Jurassic Park in the middle of nowhere, and yet it's still, as a gorge, it is incredibly friendly. There's sufficient challenge in there that we can take in groups with special needs. Have enjoyed sections of the gorge all the way through to your super athletic S6 kids who will run up some sections and we find extra challenge for them in other sections. It's an incredible place. It's bold and it's difficult to get up. You'll need all your teammates at certain points. We'll give you extra help for the bits that are scary, but the sense of achievement come the top is just phenomenal. I think it would be rude of me to describe all of it for you, just so there's some surprise when you get here. But crawling under boulders, sliding down slides, not so much stuff for jumping off, but plenty of things for climbing up. And like I say, by the time you come out at the top, you'll be clean as a whistle and very, very cold and very, very wet, and you'll have the biggest grin of the week on your face. Brilliant place.
Oh, gorge walking is gonna be so much fun. Climbing and abseiling.
Climbing and abseiling are a really good activity for a group. It extends people personally and allows them to try things which otherwise they wouldn't do. It's quite a safe activity, believe it or not, because everybody's put into a harness and is attached to ropes when they're doing the activity.
We're lucky enough to have an indoor climbing wall as well as outdoor venues very close to the centre, which means that people can often try both. The indoor wall was built a few years ago and is really good for introductory sessions as well as more advanced climbing. People will often learn techniques here before going on to climb outdoors. Outdoor climbing is really good. It's a challenging, exciting activity, and our venue allows us to climb virtually all year round and also gives us a fantastic abseil. No one's forced to do this, but we're very good at persuading people to have a go at things.
I was really, really scared when I got here and saw it, but then after I did it, I felt really proud that I achieved something. When I came here, the climbing bit didn't look too hard, but it turned out to be really hard. And the abseiling bit was really scary, but it wasn't actually too scary when you actually went down it.
The children have done very well this morning. They've worked well as a team together. They've all been encouraging each other. Some of them thought they couldn't do the abseil at the top there, but they were all very encouraging, and most of them, I think, surpassed what they thought they would be able to do this morning. So well done to them all.
Climbing and abseiling is a bit dangerous, but we're still gonna enjoy it, aren't we? Yeah. Caving.
Okay, the caves at Benmore, they're not waterfalls like caves you get south of the border or up in Absaling. They're formed by a previous ice age event, and so they by nature are very different in their form. They're very rocky. They're still very deep, but they don't have any water present particularly, apart from the very famous puddle in certain parts of it. They're narrow in places, but for the most part they're very walkable. So although you may be lowered in on ropes and what have you in some of the caves, in actual fact the passage through can be very straightforward. It's very appropriate for people of all ages and all abilities. They're very exciting because it's an environment that people generally haven't been in before. They haven't necessarily been underground, and so being in the dark with several tons of rock over your head sounds like a nerve-wracking experience, but in actual fact, by the time you've been through one, the confidence builds, and you go into a second that may be smaller and more difficult technically, and then by the time you leave, you actually want to be doing more and more. It tends to be the thing that folks notice by the time they come back out again, is the temperature changes in caves and the change in the physical environment that they've been in, and the confidence that they can gain out of a first session caving can carry them all the way through the scariest of activities after that.
What was good about the last cave you went into?
There's this really tiny wee bit that you have to slide down. It's quite scary, but you don't go down that far, so it's like a big relief when you touch the ground.
What did you think about the caving before you came here?
I didn't think that it'd be like this. I thought it would be more like man-made, but it's like completely natural.
Ugh, caving's quite scary, but we'll still enjoy it, won't we? Yeah. Biking.
Biking at Benmore, people tend to talk about it in terms of mountain biking. I would shy away from that phrase, and we're not going to be dragging you up any 3,000 foot peaks as we ride bikes around here. It is muddy, it is wet, it is slippery. More than likely is you'll have your feet in puddles for the vast majority of the day. There may be sections of trails you get off and walk, but it is, of all the activities here, the one that the kids will come back routinely with a shining white grin through their very muddy faces. Just incredible local trails, from really big, wide, easy forest roads through local quiet back roads to tiny, skinny little muddy trails, and then eventually, if the children are up to it or if the instructor thinks it's worthwhile, there are all manner of lumps, jumps, bumps. The new emerging aspect of mountain biking being timber trails, balancing logs, seesaws, you name it, we've got it here. Great fun, fast-paced, very dirty.
Ugh, Benmore is just exciting, and so is biking. And you know why it's gonna be a lot of fun? Well, because none of us have ever been to Benmore before. He's the guy that put us into this. Ugh, Benmore is gonna be so much fun! Well, this was part one of all the Benmore stuff that all the guys on my YouTube channel are going to be doing, and there's more activities as well. This was the beginning of the activities and all the stuff that's going to be happening at Benmore, and everyone's going to be excited for this. We'll see you for part two of this camp.